Just a guy in my 50s fighting prostate cancer and trying to train for my first ever triathlon. Okay, you'll have to excuse the quality of these videos. I don't even have a tripod thing. We're just balanced on a little chair thing here while the dog sits there looking at me. Good place to start is probably to discuss my family history. Spoiler alert, I was a high-risk person because my dad had prostate cancer. So my dad was 61 and he asked his GP for a test. He had no symptoms but had been getting nagged by one of his mates. My dad came back with a PSA of 80. Subsequent checks revealed a Gleason of 3+4 and he was stage 3. The cancer had already started to break out of his prostate. So this was July 2008 and my dad was started on hormone therapy, and in December of 2008 he started on 7 weeks of radiotherapy at Clatterbridge Hospital. November the following year his PSA was at 0.05, so he was undetectable. Job done, success. April 2013 his PSA had started creeping up and it was now 2.6, and July 2013 his PSA was up to 3.77 and it was declared that he was in biochemical relapse. July 2013 he commenced hormone therapy. It says on his notes that he was continuing intermittently on hormone therapy. October 2017 and I took my dad to the GP as we noticed some memory problems. He was starting to forget kids' birthdays and just generally becoming very forgetful. We didn't get anything diagnosed at this stage, but we felt we were on the early stages of having some form of dementia. Shut up! So also in 2017, that year, he met a new lady friend, having been a widower for several years, and I started to see a little bit less of my dad. October 2018, it was brought to my attention that my dad's health was worsening. His lady friend sent him home and I was quite shocked at how much weight he was lost and how unwell he seemed. I rang his GP and we got in that day. Turned out that he had been missing his hormone injections, his hormone therapy for some time. They gave him a Prostate injection straight away and took blood tests. His PSA came back at 433. Over the following weeks then we had lots of blood tests as they tried to work out what was wrong with him. And on the 19th of October 2018, on my birthday, he was admitted to hospital at the Countess of Chester. His prostate cancer had spread. It had really took hold. He had cancer in his big bones, his femurs, in his spine and in his ribs. By the November 2018 his PSA was at 700. We were talking palliative care. We got a place at the Hospice of the Good Shepherd, our local hospice, Backford near Chester. Lovely place, own room, lovely staff. The next day I took him out for a little trip on the ferry across the Mersey. Quite a funny day because I took him for a bacon butty and at the cafe, and then my dad said, "Oh, you pay, I'll pay next time." yeah. Anyway, we got down the gangway and we missed the ferry, so we had an hour's wait into the next ferry. So we just sat there on the waterfront, looking out. And my dad told me various stories that I had heard before, but stories that I enjoyed listening to. Somehow I knew this was our last, day out together. The ferry came, we did the cruise, and made it back to the hospice. 4th of December, the hospice reluctantly had to send my dad back to the Countess of Chester. There was a problem with his catheter, it kept blocking. They tried everything, but they could not unblock it, and he needed a double catheter to flush it out, and they were not allowed to do that procedure in the hospice, so we went back to the Countess. For the next 24 hours, the health cares worked tirelessly on him, and they did a good job. On the 5th of December, my eldest son, Finton, came to visit my dad. My dad was quite unusual. He was uncomfortable. He wasn't his normal self. My son was quite shocked by what he saw, and I decided from that point on, my kids didn't need to come and see my dad. The 6th of December, I picked up his papers as usual and made my way into the hospital. Somehow I wondered, would he actually get to read these newspapers? Got there and found that he was asleep, and the healthcare reported that he had had quite a restless night and that he was sleeping now, and that his bladder was under control, and they'd arranged for the transport back to the hospice. I did wonder, would he survive the journey back to the hospice, so I decided I would travel in the ambulance with him. Turned out we didn't make it into the ambulance. A short while later, he seemed to have a new lease of life. He woke up, said some lovely things, we had a little chat, and I explained to him that my mum was waiting for him. And that was it. In my arms, he passed away. He had a lovely funeral, a biker's funeral. Shortly after, I went to my GP because I was off sick at this point. I was 46 years old, and I asked about having a PSA check. Dissuaded me from having one. I didn't have any symptoms. I was quite young. Wait until you're 50. I took that advice. Little did I know what waited around the corner for me. So that's it. That's the history of my dad. I've seen my dad have treatment for prostate cancer, and I've also seen how prostate cancer can kill you if you let it get on top of you. Next, I'll talk about my PSA and the start of my journey.